Mr. Swanson, don't forget to drink plenty of water with that.
Thanks.
Excuse me. Hi.
I'll be right with you, sir.
Hi, I need a refill of this. I don't have a prescription.
Sir, please wait your turn.
I know, but this is an emergency.
Hey, buddy, ever heard of a line?
Hey, have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and beat until you pissed blood? Listen, I'm sorry. I really need it. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I need a refill of this.
Do you have a prescription?
Well, no, but see, my doctor, my shrink, he gave me these, and they're samples of... Darn it, I can't remember the name. Prefix. Prefix something.
I'm sorry, sir. Without a prescription, there's nothing in
Okay, but you see, I have the packet.
But, sir...
So I'm clearly allowed to have them. Now, I just need 4 or 5 of them to cover me for the weekend.
Let me see it.
Thank you. And I am sorry, sir.
These are supplements.
What?
This packet contains supplements, sir.
No. My doctor gave those to me. They're prefix.
They're supplements, sir.
Bullshit, man! Prefix!
Supplefen.
Prefix!
Aisle 4,
Prefix!
sir. Did you call security?
Mom and Dad went to a show. They dropped me off at Grandpa Joe's. I kick and scream, said please no. Grandma take me home. 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 I had to eat my dinner there. Mashed potatoes and stuff like that. I couldn't chew my meat good. Grandma take me home. 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 Said my dog stopped crying. Go outside and knock the back. That's what I did. I killed my dog. Grandma take me home. 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 After dinner.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome people to episode 128 of Dude and the Monkey. I am one of your co-hosts, Mark Foster, and as ever, I'm joined by
Ian Loring, hello.
and we are here today to talk about The Visit. We didn't really know what we were going to talk about this week, so at one point we were going to do a commentary of Pixels, but then we decided to do The Visit as an actual review instead. So we'll do that, we'll do some trailers, we'll do some what we've been watching. I'll be honest, I've not got a lot because I've not had a chance to watch a lot. But we've also got some Twitter questions, and we'll probably have the usual tangents and bits and bats to go along with. Ian, anything happened in the past the past week or so in the world of film that we might need to discuss?
No?
No, it's been quite a quiet week, actually, hasn't it? Well, I think it's a really quiet week, or we've just fucking missed everything.
I've been too busy on Mario Maker.
Mario Maker, yeah. What is this? Is it like a Mario Kart Maker, or is it just that you make levels on Mario?
Yeah, it's basically, I bought a Wii U because I wanted Super Mario Maker, so I spent 250 quid. But to be fair, it's been a hard month, and
You deserved a bit of a treat.
Yeah, kinda, and basically, it's just you can make 2D Mario levels and like skin them as Mario for the NES, Mario 3 for the NES, Mario World for the SNES, or Super Mario U for the Wii U. So it's like the 4 different graphical styles, and it's really easy to use. It's actually pretty fun. It's very quirky, and I'm currently making a Mario Maker concept album tribute to Taylor Swift's 1989. I've done the first 2 tracks so far, and I've got 3 levels on there in total. On my Instagram, I've been taking photos of the way you can find a course is either by typing in the title of the course or a course ID,
Yeah.
Which is just like a random group of letters and numbers. It's a ball ache, but if anyone wants to try them, they're not great because I'm only just starting, but you can find them. I'm at iLoring on Instagram, and I'm there if anyone has a Wii U and they want to try them. And feel free to tweet me as well, anybody who's actually got it, because I want to try out specific people's courses. I think that'd be quite fun. It's a laugh, though. I made one where Donna actually called me a fucking prick because I tricked her. You know, in Mario where, like, if he bumps those question mark boxes, it comes up with, like, power-ups or coins, whatever. I just put, like, a Koopa in one of them. So she did it thinking she was going to get something, and then a Koopa just landed on her and killed her.
Oh, you bastard.
It was good.
You fucking prick.
Yeah, it was good. And I made one as well where the only way you can finish the level is that you've got to kill an enemy on a cloud and then get into the cloud and then basically drive the cloud over to the end. And that one is like, I think only 12% of people who have played it have completed it, which I'm actually quite pleased with.
Fucking hell. So you're being that guy then?
Yeah, the thing is, you have to complete the level yourself before it will let you upload it.
All right.
So you can't make an impossible level.
Now, that's interesting.
But yeah, so like it's great. You get notifications on there when people have played it, and you like people can comment on it, and it's cool as well. You can see where people have like died, so you get like a heat map of like where the trickiest bits are. Which is awesome. It's really, really, really fun. It's really fun.
It sounds actually, yeah.
But is it worth 250 quid?
No.
The thing is, there's a lot of games on the Wii U I want to try out anyway. But so it's like, and also it's a good one for Lottie to kind of start up with. So because it's like Nintendo, it's all bright and colourful and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So, it's been a lot of fun, and, my wife called me a fucking prick, so it's obviously doing something right.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you've got that, I suppose it is.
That's like, she never calls me that for anything else, but, for Mario Maker levels. So I'm glad it's Mario Maker levels and nothing else.
Good.
Like, how are you? You installed quite the complicated-looking chimney flume thing the other day.
Yes, I had a very busy week last week. I had one fitting that was a 3-day fit where I had to knock down an entire chimney breast and then rebuild it in a corner. And then I spent about 6 hours in a loft space of a 200-year-old house that was actually only like 3.5-4 foot of loft space.
Were you supposed to be there?
I was supposed to be there, yes. But this loft had never been cleaned. So if you imagine, like, 300 years of spider webs were in there.
Bloody hell.
I'm not kidding. It was like a comical attic full of spider webs. There were just clumps and just spiders everywhere. In the end, I had to just accept the fact that while I was sat, so I had to hold, essentially, this bit of pipe in place for an hour at one point. Well, all I had to do was just lay on my back and hold a piece of pipe for an hour while somebody else fixed it on the roof. Because we had to get it fixed, otherwise it kept on slipping out of place. But once we got it fixed and everything, it'd be fine. So I'm having to hold this bit laid on my back, and after about a minute, I had like a couple of spiders crawl on my arm. And I'm not bad with spiders, but I would never say I'm that great with them either.
Yeah.
But at that, I literally couldn't move. So I moved. Essentially, this bit of pipe could quite easily have knocked the guy who was on the roof off the roof.
Jesus
Christ.
I
held it completely straight. So I just had to accept the fact that all these spiders were just crawling over me. And at one point, it was a two-handed job. I had to hold it with two hands. At one point, I had this massive, and I'm talking, not... Like it was a massive spider, but it was quite a really thin, massive spider. Was just decided that it was going to just sit on my face. So I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
No.
So, it was a fun 3 days.
Sounds horrible.
It was a little bit.
Moving on.
Yes, moving on.
Deary me.
Go on then. What trailers have you been watching this week, Ian?
Only two.
Only two.
For some reason, I watched the Angry Birds trailer.
Okay. And I didn't even know there was an Angry Birds movie. Is that...
Yeah. It's quite funny. Like, all the kind of comments on there were basically saying, you know, the hottest trailer from 2012 is here, which was pretty good. Jason Sudeikis, Josh Gad, Bill Hader, others. It's Angry Birds. It looks like it's about the origin of the birds' conflict with the pigs.
An Angry
Brilliant.
Birds origin story.
Yeah. So it's going to be great for 5-year-olds and useless for everybody else, basically. I don't really know why I watched it, but hey, I've got a sinking feeling it could turn out to be like the first thing I go to see with Lottie in the cinema or something, and I'm aiming for, like, if Pixar have got something next summer, hopefully that instead. But yeah, Angry Birds. And the trailer for The Big Short.
Yeah,
it looks like that's kind of caught people off guard. Apparently Adam McKay, like, it screened for Paramount executives, and they were like, "This is great. Can you actually, like, get this finished for awards consideration?" And Adam McKay said, "Yeah, I think I can." So, you know, they booked it in for, I think, New York Film Festival, and, you know, now it's suddenly getting a lot of heat, and it looks really interesting. Like the true story of, like, 4 kind of ordinary guys who basically came together to show the world was being, like, the banking world was being fucked over by essentially playing the system in a way that they were able to kind of bet on it being fucked over or something to prove a point. Looks really interesting. Good cast. McKay's interest. I mean, you know, McKay's had a sense of this for a while. You know, like the credit sequence for The Other Guys that's got all those facts and figures, and the fact that The Other Guys is so kind of anti-big banks and, like, establishment and whatnot, but in the guise of a comedy. And, you know, I think sometimes that stuff kind of threatens to derail The Other Guys. It's a weird mix of what that film's actually trying to do. It's just like, you got those facts and figures at the end with, like, Rage Against the Machine playing, I think it was, where at the same time you also got Gators Bitches Better Be Wearing Jimmies. So, which is amazing, don't get me wrong. I like The Other Guys more every time I watch it, like Step Brothers. But, you know, it does feel incongruous. But now it looks like Adam McKay's going full bore into that, but it looks like he's not forgotten to actually make it entertaining as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll second that on that one. That's one of the ones I've watched. It does. It's interesting watching as well. A director essentially take a big kind of leap from his comfort zone. You know, doing comedy to going into doing something that, yes, it looks like it could be very entertaining, but it's also tackling quite a sort of serious subject, and he's dealing with pretty, you know, weighty kind of actors here. So it does look. It looks a little bit like a sort of movie that David Russell would attempt to take on, or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
But it's a really fucking cool looking trailer, and like you say, the fact that they have gone, look, you've got something here with that cast and this story and the style and everything like that. Let's throw it out there in awards season because it could cause some damage. And, you know, you look at it and go, I kind of hope it does.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I'm really intrigued by it. Really intrigued. And also, Christian Bale, was he playing younger? Because, I don't know, it looks like they've made him, like him in that trailer, he just looks like he's playing young, and it kind of looks impressive.
I think he's playing around about a little bit younger than I think he might be, actually, yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, his haircut, it kind of looks like the kind of haircut Jake Gyllenhaal would have had, like, 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I'm really, really fucking looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm well on board with it.
And you didn't see any other trailers, because I'm done.
The trailer for Heist, starring Bobby De Niro as some kind of gangster of some description who seems to run a gambling establishment, and it gets essentially there's a heist involved run by Jeffrey Dean Morgan and David Bautista. You've also got people like Gina Carano's in there as well. There's a load of other ones, those flash where you go, it's him. It's that guy, and you've got to kind of try and remember where you know him from, things like that. But I always think Jeffrey Dean Morgan is one of those actors that really should be in more and should be a lot better thought of, because he's one of those actors who is always really good in films that are either never appreciated or not quite as good as he is in them.
That's a good way of putting it.
It always seems like the kind of actor that at some point is going to get the role where everyone goes, fucking hell, he's great, and it's something like that. And I know that they're constantly trying to turn The Dark Tower, the Stephen King series, into a selection of films, and he'd be perfect for the lead in that and things like that. So it just seems to be a roll away. But I'll happily watch something like that. It looks quite entertaining. It's probably going to be a VOD one, that one, to be honest. The Big Short, I just watched that, which we spoke about. Truth, the Kate Blanchett and Robert Redford film.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah.
Yes. Coming from somebody who has a little bit of a fucking tin ear for Kate Blanchett, I like the fact that
you fucking hate Kate Blanchett.
I do. My issue with Kate Blanchett is I think she's a very good actress who constantly attempts to do something that she doesn't need to. She goes too far with it. It's nice that she's in a film where she isn't wearing a wig and she isn't doing a voice. And that makes me go, do you know what? She's probably going to be really fucking good in this. The same as she was really fucking good in Blue Jasmine. Because she was doing a bit of a voice, but it was only a bit of a voice, and she wasn't wearing a wig. So it was good there. She isn't constantly trying to be a character. But yeah, Truth looks like it could be really quite entertaining. It looks like it could be one of those... It looks like it could be a really good Sunday night movie.
Okay.
So I'm up for that. Back in Time, the Back to the Future documentary. It's a Back to the Future documentary. What's not to like on that? It's either going to tell you nothing you didn't already know, but it's going to be entertaining, or it could be quite insightful. But it'll be interesting to see when you've got talking heads and they are the actual people who made the movie and actually people who were around the movie when it was made, and it's not just a bunch of fanboys who couldn't get access to the big players. You've got Zemeckis is on there, Michael J. Fox is on there, Spielberg's talking about it, things like that. It could be quite an interesting watch. It's not the sort of thing I'd go and see in a cinema, but I'll happily watch it at home when it comes out on Netflix.
Oh, fair enough.
Nasty Baby. Have you heard about this one?
No.
Sebastian Silva film.
Oh, the magical cactus and the woman and the big bus. What was that called?
Magic and
Cactus. Magic Cactus. I've seen this film as well, and I can't
Fairy and
recall.
What was it called? Crystal Fairy and the Magical Cactus.
There was cactus in the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
He's made a film called Nasty Baby that stars Kirsten Wiig and himself. He's also in it, I think, Sebastian Silva, Ali Shawkat and some other people. Which seems to be, you've got a gay couple who are trying to use Kristen Wiig as a surrogate for their kid. And it looks like it's this drama. And then all of a sudden, it's, a drama but with tinges of kind of comedy in there. Then all of a sudden, on the screen, you start getting, in flashing red and black and white, the word nasty. And then this, trance music. And then baby, and then trance music for 15 seconds.
Right, okay.
It's where'd that come from? Why you've got this floaty looking, standard kind of bog standard drama, to be honest, that's there, And then all of a sudden, you've tried to do it as if fucking Gaspar Noé has directed your credit sequence. Honestly, it is really, really jarring. Watch it. The film looks dull as all hell. But then there's these really fucking weird credits just going as the word nasty and baby flashes up. I can't work out what's going on.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that, which just seems like that part of the credits might be more entertaining than the entire fucking movie. And Meadowland, the one that got a lot of buzz for Olivia Wilde, where she'll end up winning a load of like fucking Sundance and a load of independent screen awards and everything like that, but nobody will see the movie.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Especially with that kind of title as well. That
Yeah,
screams
exactly.
like an indie festival film, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for trailers. Wasn't at the cinema, so didn't see anything there.
Which is interesting, given that the film we're reviewing. Did you just miss the trailers at the cinema?
No, I saw it a week ago.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, we already spoke about all that.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Fair enough.
We shall get into The Visit. We don't do fucking trailers anymore on this, do we? Anyway, so The Visit, it's a Blumhouse production, but it is directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So this is, which is strange because let's be honest, this is his a major feature films. It's his sixth or seventh.
Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village, Lady in the Water, The Happening, Last Airbender, After Earth.
So this is
Ninth, I reckon.
Ninth, yeah. But actually, no, could you count Wide Awake? Wide Awake?
Oh yeah, no, you totally could.
10th.
Yep, 10th.
This is his 11th film then.
No, this is his 10th.
Yeah. Wide Awake, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village, Lady in the Water, The Happening, Last Airbender, After Earth, and yeah, this is his 10th film. So it's strange for a director to be making his 10th movie, and it being this type of movie, especially when said director has made films that have grossed a lot of money. But he has kind of fallen from that very high plateau that he himself kind of put himself on. And then he's wound up in the comforting embrace of Blumhouse, which we are both big fans of, aren't we?
Yeah, boy.
Story is you've got 15-year-old and I think, is he 12?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it's a 15-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy who are going to stay with their grandparents for a week. They've never met their grandparents because their mother had a big fight with them before they were born. They've now reconnected by the magic of the internet, and they've said they want to get to know their grandkids. So they are being sent to spend a week with their grandparents for the first time ever, and the girl of these two kids, Rebecca, is treating it as to make some kind of documentary film, hence the found footage motif, where she's going to sort of try and find out what happened because she doesn't know why her mother fell out with her parents, and there was this big event that caused them to not speak for 15 years. So she's trying to find out, what happened there, but also document the first time that she meets her grandparents. So they go off there, and what I'm going to say, guys, is we are all spoilers all of the time. So this is an M. Night Shyamalan movie. That's all I'm going to say. Ian, what did you think of The Visit?
I had a good time watching it. I won't lie. It's got some kind of terrible stuff in there, or at least one moment in particular, which I thought was really, really, really misjudged. But I will just say it, the rapping over the credit sequence.
Is that the bit that you're saying was really misjudged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you've got the scene with Catherine Hahn, which I thought was actually really nicely played and quite a slow kind of downbeat melancholy end for the film, which I really liked, where, the whole kind of thing of, if you've got shit left unsaid with relatives, don't leave it unsaid, and particularly with like events in my life over the last month or so, that's been, something that's kind of been in mine and my sister's heads. So, I thought that was really nicely played, and I thought Catherine Hahn did a really good job selling that. And, I liked the fact that like the revelation of what happened, it's not anything too histrionic.
No, it wasn't too overblown. It was very, it could happen to anybody.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So I really liked that. But then, in a way, I thought it was interesting that over the credits, like Shyamalan's trying to like let people go out on a bit more of a high. And it's kind of, the fact that you're kind of seeing this kid's reactions to the whole thing, it's to basically try and deal with it through his kind of rapping or whatever. I thought was all right. But it's just like, I don't know, he's talking about nappies and, making light of the whole thing. It just, if the two scenes weren't right next to each other, I think I might be more comfortable with it. But it kind of just ruined what I thought was a really nice ending. And it's just like, you just got to go for the laugh. And that's the thing, like The Visit goes for the laugh a lot and it works quite a lot. But when it doesn't work, it's kind of terrible. But I thought the scares were actually pretty good. I thought the twist was all right. It kind of doesn't make sense.
No.
But I didn't guess it. Did you?
Yeah.
What, really? Okay, yeah. Fair enough. No, I don't know. I mean, like, because they kind of slightly fake you out because, you've got the weird shit happening at night and the grandma, like, crawling around under the house. I thought that hide and seek scene was terrific, by the way.
Yeah, that's it's quite an effective scene, that.
And it kind of makes you think, okay, are they possessed or is there a supernatural type thing going on? So for it to end in a way, I was glad it didn't end with it in a supernatural way. It's just it is what it is. That's kind of Shyamalan's skill in a way, really, of making these kind of somewhat overblown kind of ideas and visuals and whatnot actually be very down to earth in what they actually are. Like you look at The Sixth Sense and the whole kind of I see dead people. It's dealt with not in an overblown way. It's very matter of fact. And Unbreakable, the superhero stuff, it again, it's very matter of fact. It just seems quite appropriate in an ordinary world, So it's something that he does. I mean, The Happening is obviously fucking retarded. And he goes for the comedy there. That's an example of where he goes for comedy and completely fucks the dog. But here, I don't know. It's certainly, it's not perfect, and I think it is just a one watch. But I thought it was a solid enough one watch. What do you think, man?
I think that if this is a debut film, or it's a second movie by a director, I think it's the bits where it goes wrong and it doesn't work can quite easily be kind of forgiven as this is a filmmaker kind of finding his feet or anything like that. When it's a filmmaker that's been making movies for nearly, coming up 2 decades, I think some of the missteps are just plain confusing. In the how do you not know that this isn't very good? And much of that is pretty much the last 15 minutes of the movie, which I thought was just god awful, and frankly embarrassingly bad.
Oh, really? I mean, I like the artsy scene. That I thought that was really funny.
Which one?
Where they're playing Yahtzee.
The Yahtzee scene was about the moment where I was not too bad, but then from there it just goes off a fucking cliff. Oh,
the fucking discussion they have about something about Milton Bradley, and she's like, well, Milton Bradley doesn't make it anymore, it's Hasbro, and he's all pissed off about it. I don't know, I think it was odd. It made me laugh.
Yeah, it didn't. The thing is, I was enjoying it as this is interesting, this is interesting, this is interesting, and then it's something that does get labelled at Shyamalan, is that he's constantly looking to out smart his audience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like constantly, and the thing is, sometimes it works, and you can throw this curveball, and you go, oh fucking hell, but there's bits where it does it, and you go, all right, you kind of get the feeling that there's an often thing we've said it before, is that you should never think that you're smarter than a filmmaker, because most people aren't, because a lot of the filmmakers, unless it's a fucking McG film or a fucking Brett Ratner film, then you probably are smarter than that person. But I get the feeling with M. Night Shyamalan that he's taken on board this, I'm the master of the twist. And the one thing that has to be said about his career is his ego has been his biggest fucking problem. You wouldn't have to fucking look at the fucking Lady in the Water, where he quite literally casts himself and writes himself as the saviour of the fucking world. And it felt like he was just thinking that he was being really clever, and it was like, really? And then you've gone all that way, and you've built up, and then is that it? You're not even going to, that's it. That it's just, they killed him, and they're in the basement, and now you're going to have to try and get away from them, which we know they're going to, because they're kids. So, all right. Okay. This is just, I'm now just waiting for this film to finish, rather than enjoying how it is finishing. And it just felt a little pointless towards the end, and then just a little dull, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it may be. I thought it was interesting, but the fact that weird shit starts happening really early on, and then it's just the weird shit kind of rumbles on for about an hour or so, an hour and 10, and then you've got that's not your grandparents, and then it kind of moves up a gear. I liked that it kind of kicked off so early. Like the hide and seek sequence, that's got to be in the first half hour.
Yeah.
And that's straight. Seriously, I thought it was a great scene.
It is, and also as well, I think the delivery of when they're showing when they're showing the parents, the grandparents, and they go, whoa, wait, that's not your grandparents. I thought that was that. Although, personally, I thought that it was that I had already kind of worked that out, that was a strong possibility. I thought that actual scene was actually done really quite well.
Yeah, I mean, because Catherine Hahn kind of plays it in a way where she knows that she can't and also not completely freak them out. So she's not like, get out of the house. She's like, right, kids, I've got something to tell you. They're not your grandparents. How long have they been here for? Okay, they've been there all week. Okay, I'm on my way. Phone the police. It
was really nice seeing Catherine Hahn not being zany Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, comedy Catherine Hahn.
Because as a comedic performer, I think she can on occasions be very funny, but she can also on occasions be, you think you're funny.
Yeah.
You're a little bit like, oh shit, I can't remember.
Amy Poehler?
No, it's a guy.
Okay.
The big guy.
They're off again.
Who plays
the big guy
who in 21 Jump Street plays the Jim Coat.
Jonah Hill. Oh. Rob Riggle.
Rob Riggle, yeah, a little bit like him. A little bit like a female version of him. But then when she's playing straight, it was like, she's actually really fucking good. She's actually quite a good actress. I'd like to see her in more straight roles.
Yeah, totally. I mean, she doesn't get a lot to do, but I think she pretty much sells every scene she's in, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, the thing is, there's nothing in there which just kind of like smacks you over the head and goes, "This is awesome." But I thought for the most part, I was into it. I was intrigued to see where it was going to go, and some of the stuff in there The one bit, oh my god, they've set up the fact that the kid doesn't like germs and stuff. And then when the fucking granddad says, like, you've got to think about germs, haven't you? And then just stuffs that shitty adult nappy in his face.
Yeah, but that just didn't work for me, to be honest.
Oh, man, I thought that was, like, I could imagine, like, that, oh, bloody hell, that got me, actually.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, for some reason, it from that moment, it just kind of, it had lost me a little bit by that point. I mean, the two kids were all right. They
were fine. They were fine.
DeYoung, who plays Rebecca, I thought was very good. The kid who played Tyler was a little bit irritating. I think he was supposed to be irritating.
Yeah, he's the younger brother with the enthusiasm. I think it is what it is, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, even if that kid is just an irritating little shit like that in real life, it's good casting.
Yeah, sure.
At the very worst, it is just good casting. So they work quite well. The casting of grandparents work quite well, but it seemed to throw a load of balls up in the air and then think that it was going to go, all right, while you're waiting to catch all those, I'm going to do this, and then you go, yeah, but they're more interesting. Every one of those balls that is in the air is more interesting than what you've just done. Because, like you say, it's never really explained, why. It is explained why they did it. It's very much a throwaway line, and it's feel like it's a fucking, you could have done more with that. You could have done more.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting, the idea of chucking her kid in a suitcase in the lake, and she never got to be a grandma. I thought that was quite a creepy idea. I mean, it's just the fact that it just doesn't make any sense. Like, how the fuck did they even get there and manage to kill them? How did no one seem to notice that they had escaped the asylum? And don't they drive past it, or the institution? Don't they drive past it at some point?
Yeah.
And it's just like, are you actually wanting to get caught? Yeah, I mean, there's an awful lot of stuff you could say there, but I thought it was an interesting idea. I thought it was quite creepy. I mean, it doesn't really play up the creepy enough, because I think Shyamalan's kind of also obsessed with being funny as well as creepy.
Yeah.
But it worked well enough for me overall. But like I said at the start, I've got a feeling it's only ever going to be a one watch. I don't see myself ever going back to it.
No, I don't see the point in ever rewatching this movie.
Fair enough.
Ever. I didn't hate it, but I just it's something that I watched. It happened. If somebody ever said, "Oh, The Visit, what was it like?" I'd go, "It's all right." I didn't like it, but you might like it. I'm not a huge fan of his work. I think that he's managed to be an incredibly overrated director. And then when you actually look back at his body of work, there's an awful lot of shit in it. So how the hell has he got to be rated as highly as he is?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just the fact that this only cost $5 million, and it's the Blum way. It's the, right, I will give you this money, you will have creative freedom, but you've got to meet these particular rules. And Shyamalan met them. He turned the film in, and it's, in terms of like the ratio of budget to revenue, it's probably his most successful film since, I don't know, Unbreakable, or even The Sixth Sense, maybe, or Signs at least.
The Happening made money.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what was it? All right, let's go on let's do our weekly go on to Box Office Mojo to have a look at some shit. So, The Happening, all right, okay, The Happening.
I think it tripled its budget.
Right, $48 million budget. It did $163 million worldwide. Okay, so that's what? That's just less than 4 times its budget.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Right, so what's The Visit at the moment then?
The Visit's at about 50 million, I think. So it's made 10 times its budget.
66 million.
66, fucking hell.
Yeah, so it's made over 13 times its budget.
Which you know, is a hell of a return.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's pound for pound so far. It's it's probably his most successful movie since Signs, maybe.
Sixth
Sense.
I just had a look at Signs, and no, I mean Signs made money, but not like 13 times.
Yeah.
No, The Village did 4.5 times its budget worldwide. Yeah, Sixth Sense has got to be though, because that fucking thing made so much money.
Yeah, it made a lot of money. It made 675 or something like that.
Production budget 40 million, worldwide 672.
So that's a hell of a success.
Yeah, that's crazy. Fair play. God, can you imagine a Bruce Willis film ever doing 670 million at the worldwide box office ever again?
No. It would be one of nature's greatest fucking miracles.
Like, seriously, what did A Good Day to Die Hard do? Sorry, I'm going down the rabbit hole a little bit. I'll stop in a sec. Good Day to Die Hard did 304 million off the night.
I'm amazed it did that.
And I
didn't hate that.
It did that because it came out in February.
Yeah.
That's why it did that.
Yeah.
$92 million budget, it made 304 million. So, yeah, that fucking made money.
Yeah, it did.
Bloody hell.
You'd have to really go somewhere for a Die Hard movie to not make money.
Wow. So anyway, The Visit, sounds like we're done.
I'm touching cloth with it, to be honest. Just because...
You sounded like you were definitely shit on it.
I know, but I don't... No, I am. Yeah, I am. You're right. I'm definitely shit on it. It is shit. Other people might enjoy it, but I thought it was shit. There we go.
There you go.
And are you definitely not shit on it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't say, did I? I am certainly definitely not shit on it. I had a decent time with it. Like I say, never going to watch it again. I can't scream to people that I recommend it, but I wouldn't lie and said I didn't as well. So I'd say check it out.
Cool. Right.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. Right, Ian. What have you been watching this week then?
So I've got a few things. God, we're racing through today, aren't we? Fair play.
I have very little to talk about, so you need to fucking fill.
That's all right, man. We won't artificially extend this shit. So actually, I'll talk about Pixels, because we were gonna do it. It was my suggestion of doing a commentary track for Pixels because I figured I was gonna loathe it. So I thought it might be good to get some shit off my chest, and I thought Marc might actually like it, so we could have had a bit of a to-do. But I actually didn't think it was that bad. It's not great. It's touching cloth, but considering I was thinking it was like bottom 10 of the year material, I'd say touching cloth is a success, a resounding success. So the story, for those who don't know, I suppose. A rocket gets sent up into space with cultural artifacts from the 80s, including video games. An alien race sees them as a challenge and basically comes down to Earth to compete against Earth in a series of 80s video games, but kind of in real life. And only Adam Sandler and Peter Dinklage, Josh Gad, and Kevin James as the President of the United States can stop them. Sandler looks really
horrible.
Yeah, Sandler looks really bored.
Sandler looked bored for about the past 5 or 6 years.
He has. Like, he just looks tired.
He does actually, doesn't he?
Yeah, it just I need a rest. Can I do Grown Ups 3 where we just go to the Bahamas or something, please?
Maybe it's because he had to do stuff in this film rather than literally just sit and shout out one-liners.
Here's the point, right? He has to do stuff here. He has to do basically stunt driving. He has to run and jump and swing virtual hammers and shoot things and all sorts. And my question is, he might be good at video games. He might know the patterns, as he keeps on saying. There's a scene where he's watching a kid play The Last of Us, and he's just like, "This is shit. What is this?" there's no pattern here. Where's the story? It's just blood. And it's like, right, this is a Sony-made film, and they're showing The Last of Us, and they're basically saying The Last of Us is shit. The Last of Us is I'm getting more into games, but still, it's a game that I've played through twice. And, I don't do that. Yeah, and I didn't even like it that much first time through.
But it is wildly regarded as one of the classic, games of all time nowadays.
Yeah. It will go down in history, really, as a game that did as much narratively as a really, really, really solid film or TV series. It's as much, if not more, about its story than it is about the gameplay. So to have Adam Sandler go and what is this? This is horrible. It's just I wonder where the writers were particularly coming from. It's a small point, but anyway, he knows the patterns and whatnot. He's got the reactions, but he's literally physically got to take part in these challenges. He's playing Pac-Man with him in a car, as a ghost from Pac-Man, but basically doing stunt driving. He's playing Donkey Kong at the end, and he's jumping over the barrels, and Michelle Monaghan's doing fucking backward kick flips. Which is fine, because it's Michelle Monaghan. And the thing is, she plays an officer in the military or the Navy or something. I don't think the film even knows what branch she is in. But it slightly more makes sense for Michelle Monaghan's character. Adam Sandler's, none whatsoever. You got Kevin James running around this Donkey Kong board, jumping over barrels and stuff. The only time Kevin James would ever be able to jump over a barrel is if there's a fucking 90-ounce steak challenge in front of him and he's in a hurry.
Yeah.
It
is. Can you imagine how many doctors had to be on standby for just in case his heart just gave up?
Oh, I'm sure it was a CG Kevin James, Frank. They probably had to spend a fair bit of their visual effects budget to realistically portray Kevin James jumping over a virtual barrel.
Yeah, and then to actually take out all the sweat beads.
Oh my God. Yeah, even his virtual model sweated. So you've got that stuff, and it's just whatever. Sandler looks bored. Michelle Monaghan's character is pretty terrible. I think her first scene in the film, or maybe her second scene, is her crying in a cupboard because her husband's left her drinking wine. And that's about all the character development you get with her. It's brutal. A woman is a literal trophy in the game, even though it's not a woman, it's Q-Bert who turns himself into a woman because Josh Gad is pissed off that his video game woman disappeared. So Q-Bert turns himself into virtual woman for Josh Gad to fuck. And spoiler alert, there's a scene right at the end where Josh Gad comes home. It's a year later. He comes home and he's like, how are my little ones doing or something? And it's a bunch of baby Q-Berts jumping around all over the place. It's fucking terrifying.
That's weird. That's all
it's
kind of weird.
It's just it's like, right. Because Adam Sandler actually comments when Q-Bert turns into the woman and makes out with Josh Gad. He's like, can nobody else see how weird this is? But then they kind of out-weird it by having... it's actually creeping me out just thinking about it. But you've got that. But then you've also got Peter Dinklage as Fire Blaster. He can't seem to decide what accent he wants to do. But there's a running joke with one of his demands for helping save the Earth is that he wants to arrange a threesome with Martha Stewart and Serena Williams in the White House. And they actually run with it, and it's pretty solid. It's a really And also the action sequences aren't that bad. Actually, it's directed by Chris Columbus. He knows his way around a CG action sequence, and they're fine. So it's just this really, really weird mishmash of like kiddie toilet humor and action sequences, and Q-Bert being all cute before he turns into a woman, and kind of fucked up jokes and weird dark comic stuff, which I'm actually genuinely, that Q-Bert thing's like, it's staying in my mind now, and I've got a feeling I'm gonna have a nightmare about it tonight now. So it just it doesn't know what it wants to be. It's trying to appeal to like 80s video game fans, but it's also trying to appeal to 8-year-olds. But it can't really appeal to 8-year-olds because it's got jokes about Peter Dinklage wanting to have a Stuart Williams sandwich, I think he calls it. So it's strange. It doesn't know what it wants to be, but at the same time, considering it might just be me coming at it from ultra low expectations, I didn't think it was that bad, but I still wouldn't recommend anyone actually see it. So I mean, like,
backhanded comment. It's not that bad, but just don't fucking watch it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I've seen it, so you don't have to.
Yeah, the Q-Bert bit is just, you don't need to see it now because otherwise you'll never unsee that. Okay, so I rewatched Mad Max Fury Road. It's Mad Max Fury Road, isn't it? So hey,
yeah,
yeah, there you go. And I'll do one more, and then I'll throw it over to you for your ones, and then I've got a couple after. For Your Eyes Only. I'm getting through the Bonds. This is the Roger Moore one, which after Moonraker they kind of thought, right, we need to dial this down a bit. And at times it's so low key that it feels sleepy. It's really like they completely tone down the kind of the extravagance of it all. There's nothing in space or anything like that. It's quite a low level conflict in the end of the day. And there's like twists about who the bad guy is that you don't get in a lot of Bond films up to this point. But it's also got a Bill Conti score.
Yeah, it's Bill Conti, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, which is odd. You've got the start of the film where Roger Moore drops Blofeld down a chimney. And it ends with Margaret Thatcher having a conversation with a parrot. So, like, it's kind of like Pixels. I never thought anyone would ever connect Pixels to For Your Eyes Only, but here we go. It doesn't really know what it wants to be. It's trying, like, because it starts with Roger Moore visiting the grave of Diana Rigg's character from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Mm. But then 5 minutes later, it's got Bond dropping Blofeld down a chimney. So that's kind of a microcosm. The pre-credits bit is a microcosm with the rest of the film, and you got the like Bill Conti kind of guitar, wah wah guitar kind of Bond theme going on, and but I don't know. It's kind of quiet and loud, and often weirdly like at the same time tonally. It's all over the place. It's kind of the one that Roger Moore apologists kind of say, look, yeah, but Moore did For Your Eyes Only. But it's no From Russia With Love, and it's no On Her Majesty's Secret Service. In terms of like the lower key Bonds, it's minor lower key.
Yeah.
So yeah, For Your Eyes Only. I still enjoyed it. It's got some decent action sequences. It's also got Bond actually refusing to fuck a woman.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, like the girl in it, she's young, but I don't think she's supposed to be underage, but she's certainly supposed to be young. But it's weird. It's actually, I suppose it's less weird than seeing Roger Moore make out with her, but it's weird that Bond is actually kind of refusing to do that. Yeah.
Compass.
Exactly. It's weird that Bond has standards. Yeah, so let's go over to you, bud.
Back.
Nice.
Right. Yes. So, I when the sad news came out that Wes Craven had died, I wanted to sort of go back and watch a couple of his movies sort of over, but not try and cram them all into weeks. So I was going to sort of like watch one a week or something like that, you know, when I got sort of round to it. And I had a very insanely busy week this week, and then I was away at Claire Noel's wife's 30th birthday party on Saturday night, so I was away for the majority of the weekend with that and stuff like that, so not had a lot of time to watch stuff, but I did manage to cram in Scream. And it's a funny one, Scream, because, I mean, I'm not going to tell people what Scream's about, because everyone fucking knows, but it's one of those films where I remember watching when it first came out and really enjoying it, and then I didn't watch it for maybe 10, 12 years after that. And then I watched it again and thought, it's all right. And then I watched it a couple of years ago and enjoyed it. And then it's one of those films now where every time I watch it, I'm getting more and more out of it, to be honest. And starting to think, this is actually a ridiculously, you know, when you take it at the context of when it was made, and what sort of superseded it and what preceded it. It really is just such a well-crafted and such a well-put-together, well-cast movie, where its only actual major downfall of the actual film, which isn't even major because it should be major, but the rest of the film is so strong, is the fact that its central character in Sidney Prescott is possibly the most irritating character in the entire thing. She's not that. She's never endearing to the audience, I don't think. You never kind of get by on her side because she's always pitched as being a little bit kind of prickly. But then again, that's just the way that the film wants it to be seen. And the more you watch it, the more times you watch it, the more you realise that Craven's almost basically saying, look, here's this central character who isn't subscribing to the natural tropes, but also is a little bit of a twat. And maybe that is why all these, you know, bad things are happening to her, but she manages to buff them off, essentially. But there's so many sort of like different bits. I know I've watched Scream 5 or 6 times over near 20 years. But I'm still getting sort of new kind of nuances that come through it, etc. And even after that many watches, it's still at points, you know, is ridiculously entertaining, and it still ticks along at a fucking wicked pace. And yes, I mean, it's been preceded by some fucking terrible sequels, but it still really does hold its own as being an actual proper kind of classic of the sort of slasher film genre, which is strange in the fact that it's made near 20 years after the genre essentially started its ascent. And really, kind of like 10 years after it started its fucking descent down. But it still stands up as being a really great film. And it's amazing that what happened after it is essentially it just became we'll keep these characters, and then who else is, you know, hot right now in the MCV stratosphere, we'll throw them at it for the sequels.
Yeah, I mean especially like Sarah Michelle Gellar in Scream 2,
yeah,
where it kind of feels like she just did it in a weekend off of Buffy or something like that, you know.
Absolutely.
Buffy was on then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I mean that kind of thing was copied by like urban legend having Joshua Jackson in it, and I Know What You Did Last Summer with Jennifer Love Hewitt and whatnot. And who's the kind of the comedy guy in I Know What You Did Last Summer, like the best friend guy? Is there one?
I'm not sure.
Like Sarah Michelle Gellar's in I Know What You Did Last Summer as well, isn't she?
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's Freddie Prinze Jr. plays the nice guy.
Yeah.
To Ryan Philippe's arsehole.
Oh, there's a nice guy and an arsehole, but not a comic relief guy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Did you ever see I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yes, I have.
How is that?
Terrible.
Really? Yeah. Isn't it that one? It is actually supernatural.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least they shook things up with that a bit. Because, like, Urban Legends 2 is an interesting one as well, because it's directed by... isn't it directed by John Ottman? And it's...
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And it ends with the Alfred Hitchcock Presents tune over the credits.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird, really film-aware, like, kind of pastiche... I need to rewatch Urban Legend 2. I don't think anyone's ever said that.
I've watched it a couple of times, to be honest. But then again, I am one of the few people in the world that actually owns a copy of Urban Legend 3 Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary. God, yeah, I haven't even seen that.
You don't have to. No one has to. That, like Pixels, is what I watched for the rest of the world.
Yeah, nice.
I took that hit. But yeah, there was... The thing is, there was like this little kind of barrel, essentially, of movies that formed after Scream. So you had like the Urban Legend ones and the I Know What You Did series, and then from there they sprouted more, and it went on like that until kind of like the early noughties, where then you had essentially you had American cinema and Western audiences basically took on what was going on in with J-horror, and then you had French horror sort of like started to come out there, and horror there was then went back from being that the polished and the frat house things went to be more sort of nastier and a little bit more took that edge back on it, and it was more about being scary and being unnerving than it was about right. We need to have these tropes. We need to have it be young, beautiful people in peril. So yeah, sort of Scream. The other one I watched was Minions. Now you are a big fan of Minions, aren't you? As
the characters. Yeah, I like the film. I'm not a big fan of the film. I like the film. They make me laugh. I just find them funny.
There's nothing wrong with that. The Minions.
Come on, then, kill my fucking joy, Mark.
The Minions, I think the Minions, as characters, are fine. I think they had way too much exposure, but it worked because the movie made an incredible amount of money off a relatively small budget, really, like I think around 75 million, and it's now one of the top 10 grossing movies of all time, I think, in Minions, which is incredible. And then when you counteract into that all of the merchandising, etc., they are possibly up there with fucking Star Wars characters as some of the biggest money-making film characters of all time. It's incredible. They're a money-making machine, and they happen to be quite a funny money-making machine, in the fact that people will go, oh, and they're going to make a Minions 2, whereas nobody's going to go, Despicable Me 3. And at points, I was really enjoying Minions. I don't think at any point during it, the good thing about it is, it's only 91 minutes long. And that's not me saying, what is it? It's because it doesn't fall into a trap of trying to do too much. It wants to get in there, tell a bit of a story, and have fun with these characters, and go, boom, there you go. By the way, this world's ridiculous, but that's it. And that works. But the times when I enjoy this film more is when there's more than just the three of them. And there's loads of them, and they're doing crazy stuff. That makes more sense. When it was three of them, it started to be, all right, so I'm having to get to know these three out of all of them. And it didn't quite work as well for me. And I'll admit that it was at 52 minutes was the first time I looked at my watch and then paused it and went, yeah, I'm 52 minutes in and this joke's kind of run out now for me. And it was almost like I was happy watching them go about doing, the fish out of water essentially thing of going around New York. It was then when you tried to have them go on an adventure within an adventure that it started to lose me. I didn't care about them going to England to try and steal the crown jewels. I would have been just happy them wandering around New York, seeing various sites and having stupid things happen, and essentially it being the Minions. I think lend themselves better to a TV series, but TV series don't make as much fucking money like this.
Yeah, I mean, if maybe if they'd gone more the Shaun the Sheep movie route. I haven't seen that, but the fact that it's basically all animals, and when there are humans on screen, they kind of talk with a kind of a way. They don't actually speak.
I'd have been more happy with that and have it be 90 minutes of little vignettes of the Minions getting into hijinks around New York.
I'll agree with that. Yeah,
that would have been a better film than them going on an adventure to please, the villain of all villains. That just didn't work for me. There, it started to unravel a little bit, and the thing that made Minions entertaining was the Minions. You don't have to then give me other characters that you're then going to give a name and try and almost go, oh look, here's another toy you've got to get. I don't care. I'll happily have 50 different Minions, and that worked quite well with them, but it was then it started to unravel. But when it's just them doing stupid stuff, that's funny. So I definitely didn't hate Minions at all. I just it didn't have enough Minions. The bits where it ran out of steam, or it was like, I don't give a shit, was when you were trying to show me characters that weren't these three characters. I'd have happily seen them. I'd have happily been better with them spending more time in that department store than going to London. Because that would have been funnier.
Okay, fair enough. We've not come to blows on that then. I kind of agree with you.
It's saved by the fact that it's sensible enough to get in and get shit done, and it's a little bit fucking mental.
Yes, yes, it certainly is.
It's a little bit mental. So go on then. What else have you got to throw at us?
So I just got two more. Alex Gibney's latest, probably not latest because he seems to make films all the bloody time. I only talked about the Steve Jobs one a couple of weeks back, but Going Clear, the Scientology documentary, which was actually on Sky Atlantic last week, it survived a legal challenge and got shown. The Church of Scientology did try and block it, but I did watch this over a week ago now. I watched this after we were done recording last Sunday, so I am a little foggy. There is a review on VODzilla. I'm actually going to be on the VODzilla podcast this week talking about Mad Max as well, actually. Nice. I will just say. Ivan, the owner of the site, just started a podcast last week. So, I'll be on there talking a bit about Mad Max with him tomorrow. Chilling, frankly. It shows us that, Scientology is very silly. It's bloody ridiculous. It makes Tom Cruise look like a fucking madman. Just some of the footage of Tom Cruise in this is amazing. And they gave Tom Cruise some sort of award and did a 35-minute long celebratory video of Tom Cruise and played it at this ceremony.
Okay.
And it's... I seriously, some of the footage that they've got from these Scientology celebrations and stuff, it's insane. But it shows us that you can laugh at them, but also you need to be wary of them. It talks about how cash rich they are, and how much property they have around the world, and how hardcore they can get about ostracizing people. There's an interview with this one lady who basically she's been in the church for decades, brought up her family in it, and she left the church. And when that happens, the church says to its members that that people should disconnect from ex-members. And you've got this woman basically being told by her daughter that she will never see her or her granddaughter ever again, basically. And it's things like that where it's like the really human kind of cost of it.
Yeah.
Comes through. It's kind of interesting as well because this film was kind of like notable in the lead up to it because it's got extensive interview material with Paul Haggis, who's basically like the highest profile member to kind of leave and speak out about it. He doesn't actually get all that much to do in this, and he kind of almost sees the darkly comic side of it a little bit too much, where it's almost. And he's also kind of saying like, well, you know, I didn't really believe any of this shit. I'm just reading it like when you find out about Xenu, he was just reading it like, really? You know, well, I suppose I'm getting good kind of psychiatric counselling out of it, but really? And you know, he's kind of playing it up a bit too much in the light way, kind of laughing at it to dismiss it. Whereas the more powerful stuff in it is being very, very serious about it. And not to dismiss it, but to kind of show how harmful it can be. I really liked it. It's fucking chilling, but thankfully it doesn't seem like it's taken too much for grip. But it kind of feels like something that's insidious. Like if they're building up their property portfolio and stuff, you know, they could be like making influence through land grabs.
Yeah.
You know, so it's interesting. I recommend it.
I'm looking forward to watching it. I think it's a very sort of strange thing, the way that people have kind of, you know, cottoned on and tagged on to Scientology. It does seem to be almost the kind of the poster child for the anti-cult societies, you know, and it kind of it's strange that people seem to very much sort of single that out as these guys are fucking dangerous, you know, when really you could throw a lot of organised religion, which essentially is what that is. It's a little bit madder than a lot of organised religions, but then again, you know, you've got to look at a lot of organised religion and look at how fucking mad it is. It's been around a lot longer, and we grew up with it, and generation after generation after generation after generation have grown up with it. You know, in fucking 2,000 years' time, is Scientology going to seem, you know, so much fucking weirder than a guy who died and, you know, then was reborn and became the fucking, you know, the master of all society? You know, you've got to put it in these contexts. I do find it fascinating that it seems to be such a touch for people, to be honest. It is really strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because they show how in the lower levels, and like before the whole Xenu thing kind of came out, you were only told about Xenu and kind of like the secret background of it when you went up to like level 7 or level 8 or something like that. And by then you're already like tens of thousands of dollars deep. But before that, it's kind of just essentially kind of a way of counseling, where like they get people to kind of talk about their dark moments and whatnot. And then they have this meter, and it's like they're kind of showing that like people are basically erasing the thoughts from their bodies, essentially. And, you know, people find it seems like it's a mix of the talking cure with a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, so that stuff's interesting. It shows how it is attractive to people who just want help, basically. But, you know, as they go up the levels and they learn these secret origins, and it just gets crazier and crazier. And there's this amazing footage of this announcement at this massive like conference in this like sports arena, that they've been declared a religion, and they're really excited because it basically means that they don't have to like pay tax on their contributions to the cause. And it's like all these things are flashing up on the screen saying the war is over, we did it. It's just, and all these people going mental because of their like the fact they're going to save tax. It's insane. It's insane. And so Gibney does show how stupid it is, but he does also talk about the human cost. It's very well balanced, apart from Paul Haggis. So yeah, I very much recommend it.
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as much of a hit piece as Man in the Machine did. So and my last thing. So I was on UK Netflix on the train to work the other day. I was like, oh, I just want to stick something easy on to watch. Oh yeah, this will do. Days of Thunder.
Oh, do you know what? I haven't seen Days of Thunder since like ITV in the fucking early 90s.
Yeah, it's gotta be like 20, probably more than 20 years since I last watched Days of Thunder.
Please tell me. Please tell me it's magnificent.
Oh man, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's shit, but it's a lot of fun. Hans Zimmer's score is some fucking like fist pumping delight. Like, it's
a really good cast as well.
Yeah, the cast is insane. I mean, you got Tom Cruise having a wheelchair race with Michael Rooker. You got Tom Cruise obviously shorter than Nicole Kidman for the whole film. You know, I mean, like it's kind of cool actually seeing Tom Cruise just be like, "Yeah, I'm short," which he dropped pretty quickly. But
I think wasn't it after this movie?
Yeah, I think it probably was. It looks weird, but also kind of cool that but I think it only looks weird because now you're used to seeing Tom Cruise pretend to be tall. And hey, Nicole Kidman's bloody tall, so what do you expect? But yeah, I mean, it's Robert Duvall doing the crotchety thing. But I like the development of the story where, it starts out quite quick that, he's a good driver, but early on there's signs of fragility in there. He kind of confesses to, like, he doesn't start his career very well with Robert Duvall, and it turns out it's because he doesn't really know a lot about cars. He knows how to drive a car, but he doesn't know a lot about cars. So when Robert Duvall's like saying on the radio, like, what's wrong, Tom Cruise can't put his finger on it. He gets frustrated and he lashes out. So it's this whole kind of thing about like a man-child kind of learning to open up and to actually like ask for help and that kind of thing. But it does it in little stages through the film that kind of builds up to his big like mental block that he has to overcome after his accident. And it's actually really well done. It's a better story than I think it's remembered for generally. Because I know obviously it was like Tony Scott and Tom Cruise trying to come back together and trying to capture the zeitgeist of like Top Gun again, that kind of like lightning not striking twice kind of thing. And it feels like a film that's been forgotten.
It is. It's a film that you get the feeling that the making of it would make a very good documentary, because it literally was. Apparently, Tony Scott was enjoying being on set. We'll say.
Yeah. No. I don't doubt that actually. But I mean, the thing is, I mean, what does kind of hurt it? NASCAR is not very thrilling. It's people going around and around in a circle, and it's
American listeners, we apologise for Ian's comments there.
Oh, fucking whatever.
Yeah, it is literally. It is an incredibly successful sport that I cannot understand.
No.
Those ones where you've got to be there.
Yeah, no, I'm sure for like the atmosphere and the whole kind of experience of the whole day, I'm sure it is a lot of fun. But
I don't get motorsports.
The thing is, I get Formula One because it's not just going around in a big circle.
I just can't get it. It's one of those things. Motorsports, they just do nothing for me.
No, fair enough.
Motorsport movies. So.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, like the action scenes are still pretty well done, but the whole. And it's interesting. There's like one bit of skill that's talked about in Days of Thunder quite a lot. In a scene that I think Michael Bay kind of ripped off for Armageddon, there's a scene where Tom Cruise is demonstrating. He's just fucked Nicole Kidman for the first time, and he's demonstrating a drafting, I think it's called, and he's using like sugar packets on her leg. And it's just like, fast forward to Armageddon, and you've got Ben Affleck like playing with animal crackers on Liv Tyler, and it's just like, wow, that's like the way it's set up and the way it's shot, it just really feels similar to me. Yeah, it's interesting. And his relationship with Nicole Kidman in it as well is not the best either. Like she basically is like, I'm not going to date you. I'm not going to date you. I'm not going to date you. Oh, I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. Oh, I'm annoyed with you. I'm annoyed with you. Oh, I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. Arc end. You know, it's more about him and Robert Duvall. And, you know, Robert Duvall's got some shit in his attic, you know, to deal with as well. So it kind of feels like Nicole Kidman was kind of shoved in there because Tom Cruise wanted to fuck her, basically. So, but yeah.
Probably true.
Yeah, and fair enough as well. But, so yeah, Days of Thunder. It's fun. I mean, it's Tony Scott's kind of signature thing. I will say, it doesn't particularly look 80s. Tony Scott's aesthetic after The Hunger, I think, could just as easily fit in the 90s as it could the 80s. And I think this is late 80s, but late
80s, released 90, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, yeah, I suppose that makes sense, but it's got the Tony Scott sheen on it, which you got in the 90s as well. So yeah, Days of Thunder held up really well for me. It's not amazing, but I had a really good time watching it. Right. Oh, and Carrie Elways is a motherfucker as well. He doesn't get much to do, and he's basically just evil shit number 3, but he's very boo-hiss.
I think I might have to rewatch this at some point this week, actually.
Nice.
Cool. Yes. So, I think we do have a question, I think, from... Let me just find it. Yes. Rick Kidd, at Rick J. Kidd. With the exception of the obvious, what films are you looking forward to in the remaining 3 months of 2015?
Oh, nice. What's obvious?
Say things like Bond and Star Wars and pretty Hateful Eight. I think you'd probably have to put into that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Okay. What am I looking forward to? What am I looking forward to? I mean, I'm looking forward to The Martian, but that's next week.
I'm looking forward to what's it called? The one with Ben Mendelsohn and Ryan Reynolds.
Mississippi Grind.
Yeah, that's out in I think later on this next month. I'm very much looking forward to that. Two actors that I really like, and it's a gambling movie. Another one that I really like, The Lobster. Looking forward to that.
Oh, yep. Sicario.
Oh, yes. Next week after. Yeah, very much looking forward to that.
Crimson Peak the week after that.
Yes, again, a good one. I'm looking forward to Black Mass, actually. I'm looking forward to seeing if Johnny Depp can, re-find his groove a little bit.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm not super looking forward to it, if I'm honest, but why not?
I still don't think it'll come out for the end of this year, but the new Gaspar Noé movie.
Love.
Yeah, but Gaspar Noé is one of those, a little bit like Terrence Malick, where I'll believe the film is going to come out when I am sat in my seat with a ticket in my hand for that movie.
Yeah, nice.
No, I don't believe it exists.
Steve Jobs, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Steve Jobs, actually. Yeah, that's what was the one we talked about? Big Shot. All right.
Oh, the Big Short.
Big Short, that's it. Yeah. Looking forward to that. I could see it getting that in January, however, anywhere.
22nd of January. Yeah.
Is it 22nd? Is it January? Yeah. So yeah, there's those, to be honest. I mean, I'm actually really quite looking forward to the Bond one, which is strange because I've not really looked forward to a Bond movie ever. I don't think really.
I'm looking forward to the fact that's out on a Monday. I'm going to go see a Bond film on a Monday.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks really fucking good. But the other kind of more obvious ones that are coming out, I'm not really. They're happening, and I will go and see them. But I can't say I'm massively looking forward to Star Wars. But I'm hoping it'll be good for everybody. The Hunger Games, I'm just glad that it's going to be finished because it seems like a franchise that's got sick of itself a little bit. It's just released itself to go, look, we're done, all right? We're done, okay? Because it kind of has to promote itself.
Oh, do you know what? Finding Dory, 29th of July next year. Yeah, if that's a you, I'll take Lottie to see that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a good one to go for, I suppose. It'll be a good one for a child.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, no, good shit coming up, actually, yeah.
It's nice the fact that literally every week there is at least one film, sometimes two, which brings us nicely segued into what are we covering next week here?
What are we doing next week? We're doing The Martian.
We're going to do The Martian. Cool.
Yeah. Why? What do you want to do?
I'm going to see Macbeth anyway, but I'll happily go and see The Martian as well.
Yeah, I'm only going to have time for one. And
if you'd prefer to do Martian, I will happily do Martian because I might go and see Macbeth a week today. So that would, it gives me that little bit of grace to not film.
Yeah, out of the two, I'd rather go see The Martian.
Yeah, cool. No, I'm cool with that. I'll happily go and see. There's 3 films I won't mind seeing this week. That are out this week that I will maybe go and see over the next few weeks.
Okay, cool, man.
But yeah, I'm happy to do The Martian because I actually really like the last trailer. It's made me go, oh, brilliant. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to another Ridley Scott film that I hope this time doesn't fucking chronically disappoint me.
Yeah, well, people are saying it's like his best one in fucking ages, so here's hoping, eh?
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. So yes, we'll be covering that on the next episode, plus our usual. I'm going to try and actually watch some fucking films this week, which is going to be nice. So yes, that was episode 128. We hope you enjoyed it, and we shall speak to you next week, guys.
Indeed. Bye-bye.